The Love Affair event is on at Whole Foods Market with deals on delicious desires through February 14th. The floral department's in full bloom, so look for savings on double dozen bunches of roses. In the meat and seafood departments, save on animal welfare certified New York strip steaks and sustainable wild-caught lobster tails to make the night sizzle. Gifts from the wellness and beauty department are always a nice touch. And you have to grab those chocolate-dipped strawberries. Make Whole Foods Market your Valentine's Day destination.
Today on CityCast Philly. Earlier this week, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court issued a ruling related to abortion access. Technically, the case was about Medicaid, but what some of the justices wrote hinted that down the line, they could make a bigger ruling about reproductive rights in the Commonwealth. Our sister podcast, CityCast Pittsburgh, host Megan Harris broke this all down. It's Wednesday, January 31st. I'm Trinina Ree, and here's what Philly's talking about.
I'm here with Jillian McGoldrick, a state government reporter for the Philadelphia Inquirer. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me on.
So the state Supreme Court issued this big ruling on Medicaid. That is a form of government-provided health care, I'm oversimplifying, and abortion in Pennsylvania. Tell us about it. What shook out?
So this case originated at the Allegheny Reproductive Health Center versus...
Here in Pittsburgh.
Yes, versus the Department of Human Services, which administers Medicaid. And the Reproductive Health Center and other abortion care providers argued that the state needs to provide abortion care as part of the state constitution. And more broadly, there's a lot of attention on the case because of its likeliness to decide whether there is a fundamental right to an abortion in Pennsylvania.
Which is a quote, one of the justices calling abortion a fundamental right in the Commonwealth. Like, that feels like a big thing. I know I didn't have any power, but it feels like a mark.
Yes, definitely. Having two state Supreme Court justices writing that out so firmly is significant, though it wasn't a majority of the court, and not even all 7 justices on the state Supreme Court ruled in this case. So there's still a bunch more to happen before there is officially or unofficially a fundamental right to an abortion in the state.
Well, I want to tap in Sue Fritchie. She's the co-director of the Women's Law Project and works here in Pittsburgh. Here she is describing all this, the 3 questions that were in front of the court, and as she called it, the huge victory that her side achieved today.
So the first question was whether our clients, who are Pennsylvania abortion providers, even had a right to come into court to assert the constitutional rights of their patients. And a unanimous Pennsylvania Supreme Court said that they did. They reversed the ruling from the Commonwealth Court and said that they had met the test for standing to sue. And the second question was on whether state legislators, 2 groups of Republican state legislators who had intervened as parties in the case. So that means they have all the rights and all of the access. They get treated exactly like a plaintiff or a defendant in the case. So the lower court granted them that status as interveners. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court said that was wrong, and that they would not be allowed to participate directly as parties in the case. They would still be heard as friends of the court, but they wouldn't be in a position to act as if they were a party. And then the last question, the Pennsylvania law that says that Medicaid cannot cover abortion care is a violation of our state constitution's protections against sex discrimination. And the majority opinion said that that was so, that the Pennsylvania Equal Rights Amendment prohibits laws that discriminate on the basis of sex, and a law that withholds coverage of a common medical procedure that many, many women need, while funding medical procedures that men commonly need. That is a violation of the State Equal Rights Amendment.
So Sue is claiming victory on all three. They got the outcome that they wanted.
The Love Affair event is on at Whole Foods Market with deals on delicious desires through February 14th. The floral department's in full bloom, so look for savings on double dozen bunches of roses. In the meat and seafood departments, save on animal welfare certified New York strip steaks and sustainable wild-caught lobster tails to make the night sizzle. Gifts from the wellness and beauty department are always a nice touch. And you have to grab those chocolate-dipped strawberries. Make Whole Foods Market your Valentine's Day destination.
There's a big difference between talking and reporting, especially right now with a fire hose worth of news coming your way. You know what helps? Having reporters in the field. I'm Brad Milkey from ABC News, and that's what we've got on ABC's daily podcast, Start Here. Every morning, Start Here takes you across the country and around the world for a quick, smart look at the stories that matter. It's fast, it's straightforward, and sometimes, gasp, news can even be fun. So let's meet up tomorrow morning. Listen to Start Here wherever you get your podcasts.
You know, this whole case has been going on for a while. It started in 2019. The state Supreme Court has now considered it. They've kicked it down to a lower court. The lower court may consider it again. If it's not to someone's liking, it could just get kicked right back up to the state Supreme Court.
Yeah, so right now, anyone in Pennsylvania can receive an abortion up through 23 weeks. This case was never touching that.
Yeah, this doesn't change that at all. That's unchanged.
Yes. Currently, you can, in cases of rape, incest, or where the life of the mother is at stake.
Mm-hmm.
So there already are some people who are on Medicaid that receive funds from the government for their abortion under those specific circumstances.
And this could potentially broaden it if the lower court makes that decision?
Exactly. If the lower court makes that decision, though, that's also unlikely. The lower court is the Commonwealth Court, which is a conservative majority, though they do surprise Democrats every once in a while. And particularly in the school funding case, mainly they rule conservatively, and then that ends up just going up to the state Supreme Court again. So it's likely this will just return to the Supreme Court after years more.
So we also reached out to the attorney on record for those Republican legislators. We have not heard back yet. I asked Sue about all of this in context with our national conversation around reproductive rights. She says she's ready for whatever comes next, and she knows that the fight is not over.
Yeah, we're not done yet. Not by a long shot. But it is a beacon of hope that Pennsylvania could provide meaningful protection to people's reproductive decisions. And we need that hope so badly right now.
Jillian, what about you? What have you heard from folks in the wake of all this from, I guess, either side?
Yeah, we're here in the afternoon recording this on Monday, and there have been very few people who have put out statements. Even I think the Pennsylvania Family Institute put one out that just said, we are reviewing, and we will interview once we have some sort of decision on what we think here.
That reads to me like we need time to read it.
Yes,
come
yes,
back later.
Exactly. And that's like every single statement I've received today is just, we are reviewing the opinion.
I mean, that's good. I want people to read the legalese before they have an opinion.
Yeah. So people are still making up their minds on what they think it all means, and what their place in it should be. But one of the people who has spoken out so far is House Minority Leader Brian Cutler, a Republican out of Lancaster. He criticized the Supreme Court, which he has criticized many times before as an activist Supreme Court, trying to overstep its authority and change well-settled law, so change the precedent that already exists, the precedent that is the Abortion Control Act, which does allow for some Medicaid-funded abortions to happen for those cases of rape, incest, and life of the mother.
Yeah, that's all our existing stuff. Is there anything else you think we should know about this ruling? And I'm very curious what your next steps are. Like, what do you do from here?
Yeah, I think that people should know that there are going to be a lot more words and legal briefings, and this is not over yet. The justices did show a desire to rule that there is a fundamental right to an abortion in the state, but we're not there yet. It's going to be a bit until that happens, and it's a matter of whether the arguments present themselves in a way that they feel that they can rule that way. So it's just gonna be a while. It seems like a huge deal. It is a big deal, but it is also like a hurry up and wait situation.
That was CityCast Pittsburgh host Megan Harris and Jillian McGoldrick, reporter at the Philadelphia Inquirer. That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. Let us know what you think of this episode. Rate the show, leave us a review, and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to sign up for our morning newsletter, Hey Philly, to learn more about what else Philly's talking about. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye.